outside outside the incorporated cities. Yes, sir. So with the 125,000, it's just down at the bottom of the, yeah, perfect. That section there. She says that, to reach the areas in need, this would cover over 1,500 animals. They would receive spay, neuter, and microchip. And that the 19,000, the past funding level, is exhausted within 3 months usually. Economic Development Department. The Sports Commission asked for an increase in funding of $30,000, so this would increase to 130 from our previous 100,000. You had asked about the city of Waco and what they had funded and what they planned on funding. They have always contributed 75,000, and of course their budget is not adopted yet either, but the plan is that they would continue the $75,000 level of funding into next year. Stay on our timeline. Those letters need to go out from the judge's office today. So I just wanted to just come back here and just make sure, that we all knew what those ending numbers look like. Everyone has received a COLA on this list. So the right side is just what our fiscal year 22 elected official salaries look like. Some of the judges are, the COLA doesn't apply to them because those numbers are set a different way. But the ones that are highlighted in yellow, those were the amounts that Anna spoke on and recommended moving those up to a certain level. And then, of course, the COLA is added on top of that. So I just wanted to just make sure that we were all still, agreeable to those amounts, just because those letters do need to go out today. And we hadn't really
The
looked at.
adjustments came in the highlighted yellow,
Yes, sir.
and that was due to the fact that they were out of our criterion.
Yes. Yes. So you brought those up.
Between now and the final adoption, which is August the 24th, we will come back and talk about the disposition of any of the funds that are over and above the policy of our unassigned fund balance policy of 33%, and how we, if we choose to apply any of those towards things. And one of the, one item was on our retirement debt. It looks like there's about a little over $90,000. For every $1 million we pay down on that debt, there's a little over 90,000 and some change.
Correct. So
Savings that goes up over time if salaries are adjusted up.
That's correct. So yeah, those paying in $1 million or whatever the amount may be is going to affect of course, you're going to be out that cash for the year to pay down that debt, but then it's going to affect your retirement rate also.
Right.
So.
And the cash position that we're in because of the rate environment.
So we have received, of course, the certified values and then the new calculations of the tax rate. We'll share our screen here. This updated spreadsheet is, of course, on the budget workshop drive today, unfortunately. But that one is just one that's there. We've had questions, and we can always adjust as more information comes in.
Good.
The other ones that we'll need to come back to in this department are the MHMR contracts. And then, of course, those will come in for your review in this next month. The animal birth control clinic. So they increased their ask this year to that 125,000. You had questions about what the city was contributing to ABC. And so what we have found out, they currently and have for some years now, their budget is 166,000. Theirs is a little bit different than ours. So what's happening there is they budget, and then they have an agreement with, of course, with ABC, and they're being billed per instance per surgery and microchip. And so theirs, they've budgeted 166 for a while, but from what I gathered, it's just a flat rate that has been sufficient to cover the amount that's billed to them monthly. So they have not adjusted that for a while, but it's, again, just based on how many instances they are actually billing for.
So that's a little different than our arrangement where we're just giving them flat money to do whatever they
to cover the areas outside outside the incorporated cities. Yes, sir. So with the 125,000, it's just down at the bottom of the, yeah, perfect. That section there. She says that, to reach the areas in need, this would cover over 1,500 animals. They would receive spay, neuter, and microchip. And that the 19,000, the past funding level, is exhausted within 3 months usually. Economic Development Department. The Sports Commission asked for an increase in funding of $30,000, so this would increase to 130 from our previous 100,000. You had asked about the city of Waco and what they had funded and what they planned on funding. They have always contributed 75,000, and of course their budget is not adopted yet either, but the plan is that they would continue the $75,000 level of funding into next year. Stay on our timeline. Those letters need to go out from the judge's office today. So I just wanted to just come back here and just make sure, that we all knew what those ending numbers look like. Everyone has received a COLA on this list. So the right side is just what our fiscal year 22 elected official salaries look like. Some of the judges are, the COLA doesn't apply to them because those numbers are set a different way. But the ones that are highlighted in yellow, those were the amounts that Anna spoke on and recommended moving those up to a certain level. And then, of course, the COLA is added on top of that. So I just wanted to just make sure that we were all still, agreeable to those amounts, just because those letters do need to go out today. And we hadn't really
The
looked at.
adjustments came in the highlighted yellow,
Yes, sir.
and that was due to the fact that they were out of our criterion.
Yes. Yes. So you brought those up.
Between now and the final adoption, which is August the 24th, we will come back and talk about the disposition of any of the funds that are over and above the policy of our unassigned fund balance policy of 33%, and how we, if we choose to apply any of those towards things. And one of the, one item was on our retirement debt. It looks like there's about a little over $90,000. For every $1 million we pay down on that debt, there's little over 90,000 and some change.
Correct. So
Savings that goes up over time if salaries are adjusted up.
that's correct. So yeah, those paying in $1 million or whatever the amount may be is going to affect of course, you're going to be out that cash for the year to pay down that debt, but then it's going to affect your retirement rate also.
Right.
So
And the cash position that we're in because of the rate environment.
So we have received, of course, the certified values and then the new calculations of the tax rate. We'll share our screen here. This updated spreadsheet is, of course, on the.
Let's call court order. You got me muted. Okay, today is Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. It's 9:03 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, August 26, 2021 at 4 p.m.
Thank you. All right, we're going to have a moment of silence, but first I'd like to say that we want to offer our prayers to the soldiers that died in Afghanistan defending Americans and others in that area, and brings to mind that God, please be with the law enforcement that protect us all around the United States, including McLennan County. We appreciate the lives that we have, and we hope that we can keep them. Okay, at this time, Steve, if you will lead us in the pledge of the flags.
Yes, sir. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, thank you. We had
Yes.
no public comments registered today. And so at this time, we will start, let's see, Dustin, I think we have Janet Line with the McLennan County Dispute Resolution Center to give service and activity dates.
Yes, sir. And Judge, that's under item G1.
All right. Morning, Janet.
Good morning, Judge. Thank you very much for giving us, the McLennan County Dispute Resolution Center, a few minutes of the court's time today. I'd like to introduce a board member, our treasurer, Michael Brown, he also is from JRBT. As some of you may know him, he's been around quite a while. We're here today just to say thank you and to help give an update, answer any questions that the court may have. We are very proud and diligent about continuing our partnership to serve this whole area and this county in dispute resolution services, which predominantly includes mediations and education about conflict resolution. A great portion of what we are doing is mediating the CPS cases that are referred to us in this county. This year, we did 110 cases, 72 parents approximately, and approximately 180 children had resolution through the DRC. And we continue in our programs to save the state and county expenses as we have this partnership and reimbursement or agreement with the county. We've had our challenges this year, as everyone and every business has. COVID, of course, has continued to be a challenge. There are new legislation that is coming down through CPS cases, so we're following that, working closely with particularly Judge Minkowski and putting together a work group to address any effects that might come from those mediations. We know we'll continue with at least the same load of mediations. They've increased in 2021 for particularly CPS. We've also had other types like pro se, people who don't have attorneys and can't afford them. So we are addressing those with a number of attempts to reach out, communicate with those who refer cases, particularly the judges, building relationships. And while we are all utilizing video conferencing so much back and forth on our decisions of whether to do things in person, we've only done one case in person since April 6th of 2020. We are almost 100% Zoom, including the CPS. We also help train people on working with Zoom and documents on Zoom, particularly our partners, attorneys, mediators, and volunteers. We are a two-person office with staff plus volunteers that donate a generous amount of time, including our board and mediators. One of the biggest challenges that we have is finding, training, and recruiting CPS volunteer mediators. We continue to work on that, and we provide training all on Zoom. We did a CPS training in February this year. We will do another one in February next year. We're approaching October, and our basic training is the first and second week of October. Michael Brown, I would like him to talk a little bit about our finances. So you have a brief update. I know that you've seen some reports, the P&L and statements from us, but I'd like him to talk just a few minutes and then see if there are any questions for us.
All right, good morning, Michael.
Morning, Judge. As Janet said, I'm Michael Brown. I'm the treasurer of the DRC. I'm a CPA. I'm also a shareholder at JRBT here in Waco. Been on the board for a number of years. And since I'm a CPA, I wanted to run through a few numbers. And if y'all will just indulge me here for a minute, just a few observations. For the county, the largest single indigent defense budget line item is the Child Protective Court, and that's $1.4 million. That's greater than either of the felony courts individually. And so it's a significant outlay by the county. And the county allocates and continues to allocate. We requested the same amount of funds this year as we had last year. The county allocates $63,000 of the ADR fund, which is a statutory fee that is charged on every case that is filed, lawsuit that is filed. $15 goes into the ADR fund. And so by the allocation of that $63,000 of the ADR fund, the DRC saves well in excess of $200,000 of the county's money that it would have to spend on indigent defense for the Child Protective Court. And again, with as Janet pointed out, with the challenges this year with COVID and moving to Zoom and everything, the DRC still resolved CPS cases involving 72 parents and 180 children. All of those parents and all those children have to have attorneys, and the county has to pay for that. And so it's a significant outlay by the county. But I just want to point out that, for every dollar that the county allocates to the DRC, the county saves about $4 in those indigent defense fees. So it's a good investment by the county, and we just wanted to thank y'all for what y'all have continued to do in supporting the DRC. And also to note that ADR fund continues to grow in dollars. So we're not actually drawing down. It actually grew by about $45,000 year over year. So it's not coming out of the general fund of the county. Y'all are allocating the funds, and we are very grateful for that. So those are just a few of the dollars and cents that I wanted to run by y'all real quick. So we appreciate y'all's continued partnership and support.
Thank you. Any questions? Got feedback. Any questions anyone would have for Janet or Michael? Well, we realize the value that Dispute Resolution Center provides the county, and we really appreciate it. And speaking for the taxpayers of McLennan County, speaking for the taxpayers of McLennan County, anytime we can leverage entities like Dispute Resolution Center to cut costs back on indigent defense is much appreciated. It's a big factor for us for indigent defense across the whole spectrum of judicial system. So thank you very much. Any questions anyone have? If not, is there a motion to approve this report for recording purposes?
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you all very much. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
All right.
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Going
Judge,
to-
you want to go back to the start? D1, Juvenile Probation Monthly Activity Report.
Yeah, that'd be good. And I understand that Colin is not here this morning. And so if you have any questions about his report, forward them to him and he'll get those answers for you. And we can, it's up to the court whether they want to defer till he can present or accept for recording purposes and then direct any questions to him directly.
I'd make a motion to accept the report for recording purposes. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Under D2 is the engineering activity report. And I'd like to address these presentations this morning. We've received these. These are great reports. I've gone through them. My commissioners have received them and gone through them. I think the important thing this morning is hit the points that are most significant, especially if there are changes. And then you point out any trends that you might have, that you might see that would be relevant to how we manage county government. And then lastly, always take the opportunity to let the Commissioners Court know what we can do to help you in your department. So, Zane, morning.
Morning, Judge. As you know, you have my report there. Just a few highlights. Surrey Ridge Road has been finally accepted. It's in good shape. Contractor did a good job, and I'm very happy with our first asphalt created roadway here in the county. The second roadway, of course, Ritchie Road has been completed for some time. That was a three-way shared project between the county, the city of Waco, and the city of Hewitt, and it turned out really well. And then the Spiegelville Road project is nearing completion. It's in its last 10% of trying to be completed, and so that's going very well, and we're very happy with it. Chapel Road is under design still, and so we are trying to get acquire the last bit of right-of-way necessary for that before we can bid that out to construction.
Do we know what the status is on getting those last two parcels nailed down?
Mike Millard has been working with the property owners and is trying to come to an agreement on price.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And so the only other things that have kind of taken our time is we've had some low water crossing projects. One's in precinct 4, kind of just fell apart. So we've got that road shut down and are creating designs in-house to replace that one. And of course, we have hired LAN as a engineering consultant to design the one in precinct 3 on County Line Road South. But everything else is going well. In the future, we may have to have the County Commissioners Court or council to send a request to the AG to get some clarification on tiny homes built in the outside the ETJ of the cities. It's maybe starting to become an issue, but we'll work through that. Everything else is working smooth. So
What area of the county are those?
What kind of homes?
Tiny.
Tiny homes.
It's,
tiny homes.
yeah,
The
where,
vacation rentals.
yeah, well, it could be.
Well, so there is an AG opinion on cabins for rent. And so people are building these little tiny homes and renting them out, similar to cabins. And we feel in the engineering department that falls under the same guise as cabins. And another way you can look at it, it's a home. So regardless if it's a small home or a very large home, it's still a home, a place of residence. It needs to follow our subdivision order. And so some developers are trying to sidestep our subdivision order because they're calling it something different.
In the Chalk Bluff area?
One's in precinct 1, one's in precinct 4. There may be one in precinct 3. We've had numerous developers contact our office, so they're countywide.
So are they, are the developers saying because they're tiny, you can increase the density on a tract of land? In other words, instead of a quarter acre or whatever our minimum is, it could be
That's correct.
tighter.
That's one issue. Another issue is that maybe they keep, say, 1 full acre, but they put 4 little tiny homes on that 1 acre. Yes. Or they put more than 4, and they don't want to subdivide that acre because they're like, well, it's just a B&B, Airbnb, or it's a tiny cabin for rent, or they're not living there. They're just there for the day. So.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of our issues have to do with septic tanks, concentration of septic tanks in a small area.
That's
Well,
exactly right.
Each one of these, even a tiny home, has a commode in it and shower at least. And so the demand for a septic tank would be the same, whether it's a tiny home or a little bit larger home is what.
That's our stance on the issue. That if they want a toilet and a sink then they need to have a septic system, if they get a septic system, they have to meet our subdivision order. Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Hey, Zane, what about,
Yes, sir.
what about road frontage? Is that an issue?
Right.
Yeah.
That's all part of our subdivision order. Have to meet the minimum requirements for roadway frontage. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Zane?
No, sir, that covers it.
Okay, are there any questions for Zane? All right, if not, is there a motion to approve his report for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, Michael Graham, maintenance of equipment.
Morning.
Morning, Michael.
So, just kind of overview what we have here with the radio shop. Stayed pretty busy the last couple of months. Yesterday, we completed a install for Precinct 3's new truck with some emergency lighting that was on it. And we've just completed, should have rolled out this week, Precinct 4's new PUPS van. As far as the radio tower project goes, Precinct 1 and 2 are online and functioning. We have received 2 high temperature alarms this last 2 weeks, I guess, out at Precinct 1. The AC went out a couple of times in those. The AC went out a couple of times in those. And with the quick response and help of MOB, we were able to get the ACs fixed and get them back online pretty quick. Received 1 high temperature alarm out at Precinct 2. Ended up being a false alarm, so that was good news. Sign shop stayed steady. In July, we made quite a bit of signs, a lot of those for Trading House Lake, getting it ready for the 4th of July weekend. Mr. Tate ordered some signs to make sure people hopefully complied with the rules out there. Over to the vehicle maintenance shop. Again, it stayed pretty steady. We've had some outside labor costs in June and July that a little higher than we'd like to see, but most of that's related to air conditioners. First hot couple of months of the year, we always see guys finding out their AC is not working as well as they'd like for it to, and those start going out. So now we're staying busy. Any questions?
Okay, any questions for Michael? If not, is there a motion to approve for recording purposes?
Motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Pass. Thank you. All right, next, County Veteran Service Office, Steve Hernandez.
Yes, sir, Judge. Everything that the report shows is basically what we're continuing to do there, but from a community standpoint, we are getting back into trying to get some of the recidivism down with the veterans. So I'm getting kind of more familiar with the group homes again, who can take in sexual offenders, who can't, and also working with some of the veteran service organizations as to who can actually give out bus passes or maybe help with a motel stay. The homeless project on the VA campus is moving along. That's more at the federal level. There have been some discussion about grants that the state offers. And I know that the gentleman that I believe it's called Career Path, it's not Career Path. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia. He actually has been handling most of all that. This is his 3rd project. So that's moving on. Also, Congressman Sessions has also asked if we could help organize a Veterans One Stop for Brazos County. So we intend to get with some of the representatives from Brazos County, as well as get Tom Thomas and Melinda Bonds involved in trying to give them a good framework as to how the One Stop was created and how it has thrived for 10 years. And let me see what else. I just attended a conference for continuing education, and we're still trying to get reacclimated with the Veterans Treatment Court. like I said, focus right now, other than just our normal mandate, is to try to get the recidivism down, or at least try to create some mentorship with the veterans that are in court, or even the veterans that are needing some assistance in getting VA services. And if they are not eligible for VA services, getting them down to the one stop for the therapist and the drug and alcohol counselor. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay.
Oh, and we
thank-
are back to appointment only. Yes, sir. We started that with the variant increase.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
We're back to appointment only in the office because the variant increase in numbers. We've decided that it'd be the best thing to do is handle appointments only.
Okay. And that reminds me, are there specific programs for veterans that want to be vaccinated to get vaccine?
The Walgreens and CVS is offering all the veterans that do call, the VA is paying for them to go there. I mean, even though it's free, but as far as a program at the office or a strategy that we've had to get vaccinated, no, sir.
Okay.
The VA promotes that mostly from the hospital standpoint.
Right. Well, it may be, maybe one thing that would be fairly easy is just to take the information that's out there and just maybe print out a piece and where you can hand it to veterans that are in there if they're interested.
Sure.
And not have to create, really anything yourself, but more make them aware of the availability of vaccine if they choose to do it. And
Yes, sir. Good point. I may want to get with Tommy Weatherspoon and maybe put that in the paper, because we unfortunately, we do have some veterans that are still passing. And I'm not sure if it was due to them not wanting to get the vaccine or not having the vaccine. But I know that a lot of the clients that we serve do have underlying conditions, severe underlying conditions.
Right, right.
Yes.
Okay, and Dustin sent me a message that VA has clinics as well here. And, my only point is just to be sure they know that and move them on to where the clinics are already set up.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Most of the veterans that we do get to see on a regular basis, and I say on a regular basis, most of our claims are from veterans who fully utilize the healthcare system. The ones that we have difficulty with are unfortunately the older veterans who are in need of a nursing home or assisted living facility and have never signed up with VA services and are now trying to play catch up. And the VA system can be very bureaucratic and tedious. And that's the hard part, is trying to get them taken care of, but yet still trying to get them VA services.
Right, right, okay.
Hey, Steve,
Yes, sir.
just one comment. Fortunate enough to get to attend the ceremony honoring and thanking Ira Tucker for his.
yes, sir, Mr. Walton. Yes,
Ira
yes,
Walton,
sir.
I'm sorry.
It's
Ira
okay.
Walton
Yes,
for
sir.
his donation to Veterans One Stop. It was very well done and very well received, and y'all did a good job. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir. Thanks for attending.
You bet.
And I talked to Congressman Sessions yesterday. We were working on something else, and he brought up that you've been very helpful in the discussions, and so we appreciate that. And, I would encourage you, and I know you will, to help Brazos County understand the best practices on how to set those up.
Thank you, sir. No, I intended to notify the court. Right now, we were just in a brainstorming discussion, but when it starts to take a little time, I do want to inform the court that that's what we intend to do, is to assist them.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Steve? If not, is there a motion to approve for recording purposes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Pass. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, next is, purchasing, Ken Bass.
Yes, sir. First thing I'd like to point out on my deal is we have received in responses to our RFQ 21-011 architectural services to remodel decommissioned jail into courtrooms and offices. We received 8 responses. Adelet Architecture, RBDR. Well, let me say Adelet Architecture, and they are out of Perry, Georgia, but they're opening up an office here in Waco in the Liberty Building. Then we received a response from RBDR, of course, they're from Waco. RPGA Design Group out of Fort Worth. Studio Steinbaumer out of Austin. MRB Group out of Temple, Texas. Reliance Architecture out of Round Rock. Icon out of Sanger, Texas, and Brinkley Sargent Wigington, of course, out of Waco. And I have scanned those responses and sent those copies of those to Zane, TJ, and Dustin, and we're in the process of evaluating those responses and hope to have a recommendation to the court soon. One situation that arose, I had a plan for our tower at Precinct 4. The company I wanted to use, Western Tower, was on DIR, so we were not going to have any issues using them to build our tower. But in the meantime, Western Tower dropped their contract with DIR. I looked to see if there's another tower company on a cooperative agreement or state contract. Did not see any, so now I'm writing the bid for our tower at Road and Bridge 4. And of course, I'll be seeking help from various members of the county to help put that all together, including Frank Patterson. So I'm working on that. We set up a deal with House of Travel to help with our travel bookings, and that was kind of a temporary solution. I'm visiting with Francis Bartlett right now. We're trying to find a different way to do this than going through a travel agency, and hopefully we'll have something pounded out that we can bring to the court soon. Also, I'm writing the bid for hot mix cold laid asphalt concrete, high performance asphalt cold mix, and asphalt oil sand. And that ad is going to be on the next agenda. But that's kind of the things. Oh, one other thing. I have hired a person for our open position. She is supposed to start on September 15th. Her name is Cinnamon Alexander. And I've been really missing Becky very much. And I'm hoping that Cinnamon can step in and take over a lot of the duties she was doing and give me somewhat of a break.
Okay.
But that's my report.
All right, thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Ken? If not, is there a motion to approve Ken's report
So
for
moved.
recording purposes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Pass. All right, on D6, mental health court services, Mary's out today. And if you have questions, I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, we can either accept it or defer it until she can give a full report.
Make a motion to accept for reporting purposes.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Pass. Thank you. All right, next item is under 7, call on T.J. Jackson.
Good morning. So I'll just hit a few highlights. Project work is going along extremely well. We did have a hiccup due to some COVID issues a couple of weeks ago that kind of slowed down the 4th floor project, but it's advancing along fairly well, and we're expecting to hit our deadline up there. As far as everything else goes, you'll notice we've got 2 Tech 1 positions open. That is due to a promotion from a Tech 1 to Tech 2. So I'd like to congratulate Jason Matus on his HVAC certification certificate. He completed his course and was able to advance into a Tech 2 position. So
Good.
extremely happy with him, and he's doing a great job in his new position. Other than that, you'll see on the next court agenda, we have some budget amendments to move some money around from deferred into our repair and maintenance. What we're finding is with extremely long lead times on particular pieces of equipment, we're kind of have to adjust the way we do things. So we have several large pieces of equipment that are out on order that won't make it here before the budget year. So we're shifting some funding around in order to keep making repairs to those particular pieces of equipment until we can get into the new budget year and get the equipment here. So lead times are about our biggest issue right now. Everything else seems to be going pretty smooth. No issues on work orders. They're kind of dropped off a little bit this past quarter, which is to be expected just as we start to see the summer ramp down. Everything else is going great. Do you have any questions?
Hey, yeah, I do, TJ.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw, TJ, where it shows the downtown jail basement is 98% complete, and the other portion is like 95%. How does that translate to a time in the future? as far as
So,
completion?
okay, so all of the demolition in the downtown jail is currently done. They are concentrating on the high 5, the annex building. They've got about 2 more weeks left of work, and then they'll be completed. And then as far as the basement file room is concerned, that's kind of a project that we've been holding on for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now. We kind of slowed down on it just due to the demolition on the floors above. We found it was kind of unsafe for folks to be working in there. So that project will kick back up as soon as the demolition team is out of the building and out of the space. We are planning on moving one of the condensed file units from the archives building into the basement of the jail as part of the relocation of the files for the district clerk.
I know it's a crystal ball to look into it, but I mean, do you have a ballpark on when all of that's going to be completed?
So the main demolition itself and the asbestos portion of the project will be completed in about 2 weeks. The file density shelving unit that's getting relocated will probably be about 1.5 months.
6 weeks, okay.
And anything else, Commissioner?
No, sir. Thank you, thank you.
Also, question on the 4th floor, finishing at that courtroom, what are you expecting, a date that, you know, we're able to accommodate the new county court of law and temporary place right now. When do you expect us to be able to have that available to us?
So we are still shooting for that October 1st deadline. The furniture package is scheduled to arrive on September the 24th.
Okay.
If we don't have any hiccups with that, I think we're going to be really, really close. We may have to give or take a week or so, depending on how things fall over the next 2 weeks. But we're still shooting and advancing for that October 1st date.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions anyone have? All right, thank you, TJ. Is there a motion to accept TJ's report for recording purposes?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you. All right, next is the pretrial services monthly activity report. Is Judge Bain on?
Says won't be joined.
Okay, all right. Yes, I see, okay. All right, thank you. It's just a standard, I mean, it's just a continuation of his numbers, unless someone has any any questions, I'd entertain a motion to accept for recording purposes or defer.
Motion to accept for recording.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Pass. All right, next is the healthcare services. Dustin, is Heather on, or,
Yes, sir, she is.
good morning, Heather.
Good morning. I can't believe we're talking about the fourth quarter already.
I know.
The year has just flown by. Lots of great stuff going on at health services this year, I feel like. We're going to be hosting our second vaccine clinic this week. We had a pretty good turnout with the first one, considering the short notice that we had in advertising for it. So I'm hoping this one we have a little better turnout. I included some Facebook statistics in there just to kind of give you guys an idea of the amount of folks that we're reaching through our social media, which I think is great. This is since October 1st. So a little over 11,000. It says 11,000 people reached. And then we're noticing that upward trend with our admitted clients. I included 4 years of data just to kind of show that we were just trending down. And then last quarter, we just barely started an uptick, and now we're up to 271 admitted clients. So best we've been in a really long time. And then lastly, I'll try to throw some extra stuff in there for you guys sometimes just to give you something extra to look at. But I included our therapeutic class medication list, and just to show you the top 10 medications that we're prescribing or that we're covering in the program, and also the diagnoses that are being treated through those meds. So just basically diabetes is the number one diagnosis and med. So any questions about anything else in the report?
So we no longer pay for any type of narcotic, is that
Right.
correct?
Mhm. That was several years, I think, before I came along that decision was made. And that's also one of the kind of benefits, I think, when we're thinking about the Good Health Card, is because they do still cover. And so I think that sometimes we have folks kind of going Good Health Card direction for that purpose as well.
What would be the oversight then on the Good Health Card? Is there a spending limit or any? Do we
You
get
know, I
flagged?
think they just have a reduced cost. So I don't know that there's a limit on how many scripts they can get a month. Like with us, it's 3. They just pay a reduced price for theirs.
Thank you.
Heather, I know you met with Jackson Griggs at Waco Family Medicine. Talk about, we have a lot of clients, patients that are in common. How did that go? And is there anything that you learned from that the Commissioners Court ought to know?
Yeah, I think it went really well. It was a pretty broad conversation, and it sounds like they're really willing to further partner moving forward. I think that because they're in the midst of the COVID pandemic, that's kind of occupying their focus, that and with their expansion. But Commissioner Jones was also there with me, Commissioner Miller. I mentioned kind of the cost sharing with transportation. They also have a transportation program, but they were open to cost sharing. It sounded like. We didn't really talk any specifics on what that partnership would look like moving forward, but he and I did have an additional conversation and kind of hashed out the potential of clients having both programs. So having Good Health Card and indigent, so it not being a one or the other, but they would be able to have both. And I think that would benefit them on the script side more than access to services through Waco Family Medicine, but then they would be able to use the indigent healthcare to access specialty care. So that was kind of the takeaway that I had. Okay. Commissioner Jones, was there anything that stuck out to you that you felt like I'm not hitting on?
No, I think that's, I think we have a good, it's a good partnership, and just getting more people aware of it, I think is going to help out even more. And so Dr. Griggs has done a great job in steering the Waco Family Health into the primary care, palliative care business. And so if we can, that's where we, and so in the end, we end up saving, because people are getting taken care of ahead of time.
Right.
Instead of waiting to come to us for specialty care.
Plus, I guess many of them, for the first time, have
Yeah.
a primary care
There's a-
physician to go
right.
to.
And, you
Family
know,
doctor.
and a regular schedule,
Yeah.
things like that, of doctor's visits, so.
Well,
And that's part of what we're trying to do is really educating the community on that preventative side. Because what we see at Indigent Health is usually folks are showing up because there's a problem and they're needing to access specialty care, or they've been in the hospital or the emergency room and they've been referred to us by the hospital for a payer source. And so in all of our outreach, we're really trying to push that preventative side to get them engaged with a primary care physician to kind of ward off some of that, more long-term care needs.
good. Well, the court appreciates y'all meeting with Jackson Griggs and encourage you to continue that, making that good, strong relationship with Waco Family Medicine. And so thanks very much for that. Is there anything else, Heather?
No, sir, I think that is it.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve Heather's report for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, going to Information Technology Monthly Activity Reports from June to July 2021. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. For this period, our staff, of course, continued to work on numerous active, both IT and department projects across the county, responding to ongoing support needs. We had a great deal of participation in our budget hearings. For this period, we had a higher number of product evaluations that we performed. We coordinated a number of various vendor system upgrades. We continued with our data migrations and server operating system upgrades. One of the notable things that we gotten off the ground this period is our cloud storage. We were able to get the storage appliances in from our vendor and get that data sent back. We've got our backup processes scheduled and they are sending our information to those repositories. So we are monitoring those and making sure that is as we intend it to be. So we're very, very pleased with that progress. We've also continued to monitor, some of the Tyler issues that were encountered in the upgrade previous this year, coordinating meetings as needed to deal with issues. We do see those winding down. Many of the items, or a few of the items, have been sent to their development team to work on. So we continue to monitor that. We have also filled our network technician position in July. We're very happy to have a new team member. However, we had to say goodbye to one of our desktop tier 2 members. And I just wanted to note to the court, that will be some impact to our desktop support team. We have 2 vacant positions there, and we do have 1 system position still open. We've got a strong team, and we will work together to cover support as needed. But hopefully we'll get those filled before too long. Just wanted to note that. We've also wrapped up about the bulk of our phone equipment refresh. That's taken us a couple of years to perform that. We did a final review of that system and found a few phones that were missed in the original assessment count. So we've gotten those ordered and those should be dispensed soon, and we will be done with that project. In the archives area, they did have to suspend shredding in July due to the road construction in their area. They will resume when possible. But they did make some more progress on their InfoLinks record entries into that system. They now have 5 complete years in that system. So they're very proud of that. So those are just some of the highlights for this period.
Okay, as much shredding as we've done, we ought to be getting in pretty good shape over there. Can you see a difference?
I think Claire's been very pleased with the space they've been able to open up. I know one of the things they're most looking forward to is the area that TJ was speaking of. When they get that basement completed in the downtown jail, they'll be able to move a great deal of those district clerk records over, and that will give them a much needed space. They'll get some shelving systems put up and be able to reallocate a lot of those records.
Okay, now, the authority over those files moved to DA, or is that still in archives hands, or does the district clerk actually take responsibility? For that?
It's my understanding that the district clerk will be taking responsibility over his records in managing and pulling and filing those. Our staff, there's been no conversations about them going into that space and managing any of those records.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Lisa? And Lisa, I know we have an issue that we need to talk about in executive session later in the meeting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so we'll see you shortly. Is there any questions for Lisa? If not, is there a motion to accept the report for recording purposes?
So moved.
So moved. Oh,
Second.
Yeah, sorry.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Thank you. Under D11, Human Resource Monthly Activity Report. Anna?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I want to highlight just new programs and policies our department was able to introduce this past quarter. It was a busy quarter, so the main programs that we worked on and were able to launch were our on-site COVID testing and vaccines for our staff or employees, and we feel that's been going well and is continuing even this morning. So we've been able to test 51 employees on site and also vaccinate 26 employees. And those efforts will continue. We're going to try to have, of course, with the assistance of jail medical, have testing available for our workforce at least twice a week. We are scheduled all the way out to through the month of September. We have that scheduled, and jail medical has been very flexible and available for us, so we really appreciate their assistance. And of course, the judge's office is keeping us supplied with the testing kits. Moving on to our next program, we've been able to provide the court with a new tool or metric to be able to assess salary requests during budget session. We were able to do that during this budget session, and that's a compensation ratio that I believe helped the court and make their determination for those requests. We also launched an internship program over the summer that has ended. HR was able to gather feedback from our interns and also from the participating departments. They gave us information on the projects these interns were working on. We had 3 interns, one at Health Services, one for the county auditor, and one here in HR. And after receiving information on the projects they got to work on, I feel like these interns really got some hands-on experience, real experience, which is great. They also gave very helpful feedback that we hope to take into account and implement for next summer's internship. We're currently working on expanding the educational institutions that participate this summer, just because it was the initial season we only had Baylor as a participant, but we're currently having discussions with Waco ISD to see how they can participate for next summer. Hopefully we're able to bring that to the court as well. We also were able to establish 2 new types of leave programs, a quarantine leave for very specific job titles as required by a new state government code, and also mental health leave as well. So HR will be working to implement and use that program moving forward. And HR was also able to create an employee engagement newsletter this quarter that was launched, and we received great feedback from our employees after we issued that newsletter out, even suggestions for what to include moving forward, which was our goal. We want our employees to engage us. Often some departments feel like islands and aren't aware of county goings on, and we feel like this newsletter will help in making our county feel more connected. I want to just offer to the court members that, you know, if there are any announcements or messages they want to relay to employees, I'd like you guys to take the opportunity to use our newsletter to do that. We're excited for this next issue. You should be seeing it October 1st for the next quarter. We're doing this on a quarterly basis. Those are our new programs launched. We're currently managing our two biggest challenges, which continue to be, of course, COVID and our lull in applications received for our job postings. So those are probably our two major challenges, but the court has already offered HR support in helping us manage those challenges and approving us the ability to have on-site vaccination clinics and testing, and also helping us by approving agreements for advertising for the challenge of decreased applications. So actually tomorrow, one of these agreements take effect, and that's the Waco Transit agreement. So we should be seeing a bus ad roaming around McLennan counties as of tomorrow. So we're excited about that, but that'll be a continued effort. We have in-person career fair scheduled as well to try to combat that decrease in applications. Those are my major points, and I can take any questions if the court has any.
Yeah, two things. One, on the internship program, so it sounds like you're pleased and the departments that had interns, even though it was a small group, seem to be pleased with that. Is that, and so next year, you would probably support that program again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, and, you know, I'd like to be sure we keep in touch with those folks because they may fit some positions that when they're out of school and those things. I would also wonder, or try to find out, and I'll help you with this, if TSTC has an intern program as well, because we do have a lot of areas, including road and bridge, but also maintenance, of course, and even in the law enforcement side, where people with technical skills and mechanical skills could be very important for us.
Yes, sir. That's a great idea. They would be great to include as participants. So I will definitely take you up on that.
Okay. Well, Provost Edgar Padilla is head of that, and we've been working with him on some other things, so we can definitely look at that. Next thing is, I think we need to be thinking, and I think you are, that we don't stop having vaccinations available for those who want it. And so planning out ahead and scheduling those and getting the information to the employees that want to get the vaccine, that, you know, we won't stop that effort until no one is signing up any longer. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. We actually, and I'm sorry I missed this, but yes, we actually have a vaccine clinic scheduled tomorrow.
I know you did, yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm misspeaking. It's on Thursday, the second. That's when our next clinic is scheduled. And then, yes, our plan is to continue to coordinate with the health district to have them on site again.
Okay.
At a later time.
And Judge, you can answer this, but I'm assuming as well that the testing that we're offering is the rapid testing. It's not the.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And then we recommend that they, if they're positive, to
Follow up.
yeah, follow up, right.
It's just, I know personally now how important it is that you
Yeah.
identify it and in the
Early.
first 48 hours start
Right.
some form of, so the rapid test is the only way to go.
Yeah. Okay, Anna, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, there's no other questions for Anna. Is there a motion to approve her report for recording purposes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank y'all. Okay, all right, Dustin, you want to pick up at D 12?
Yes, sir. So this is the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service monthly report for June 2021. And Judge, nobody from AgriLife will be present, so we can just accept this report for recording purposes.
Okay. What's the pleasure, court?
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Under item E, grants and grant proposals, E1s regarding the U.S. Department of Treasury Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, American Rescue Plan Act. Judge Francis and I just wanted to give the court a quick update. I'll kind of go over some of the meetings we've had, and then Francis is going to talk about where we are in terms of the initial reports that are due. So we have, on the advice of the court, we have met with both Waco Family Medicine and MHMR, along with Danny Martinez from BKD, to gather information. We're having another meeting on Friday to get more information kind of from a construction standpoint of the two new facilities that are being built. We feel very confident that both of those requests for both Waco Family Medicine and MHMR will be covered under the rescue plan. So we've already drafted subrecipient agreements. Mike Dixon and David Shaw at Haley Nolson have drafted those. We've reviewed them. They've been sent to BKD for their review. And so our goal is to have those on the September 21st agenda for the court to consider. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Francis to talk about reporting unless the court has any specific questions.
Well, I might just say that also all the other requests that have come in, we have those lined up ready for review. And besides BKD, we've got Tom Ray reported in and is ready to go to work. And we've shown him a few deals. He'll also be joining Commissioner Smith and myself to meet with Lorena about a project they have. So I'm just, every request that's out there is lined up, ready for review up to this point.
Is there a list that y'all could share?
We do.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Reagan's created a spreadsheet that links back to the original request, so we will share that with the court.
Okay, Francis, good morning.
Good morning. So an update on the reports. There are two reports that are due today. They're the interim report and the recovery plan performance report. Although there's been a lot of discussion and even some consensus from the court on entities or areas that you would like to spend some of this funding on, nothing has been formally obligated or, of course, expended as of yet. So we will submit these reports today as nothing, reporting that nothing has been obligated or expended and there's no formal plan in place as of yet. The interim report that's due today is just a one-time report, just to give an update of where we are. But the recovery plan performance report, that is something that will continue to be updated through the life of the grant. So as you make more decisions and more plans are put into place, that report will continue to be updated. We have completed the revenue loss calculation, and that that revenue loss calculation is for calendar year 2020. That amount came to $1,625,876. And so what that means is that opens up that piece of the funding to a more broad use, specifically, for provision of government services. So they don't have to be expenditures that are directly related to COVID. And so, of course, like Dustin said, there'll be some discussions coming up in the future where you can discuss, what you would like to spend those funds on. Any questions?
How was the revenue loss calculated?
So you take our fiscal year 2019 as what they call the base year. And then you compare calendar year 2020 actual revenues to base year 2019 and see if it exceeds their given growth rate of 4.1%. So in our case, you can also go back and compute what your actual average growth rate is. And if it's higher than 4.1, you may use that. So we went ahead and did that. And we actually came to a 5.3% growth rate. And so that's an average growth rate on the eligible revenues for this calculation between the fiscal years of 2016 and 2019. And so then with that growth rate of 5.3%, you of course move that forward from fiscal year 19, compare that to calendar year 2020 revenue, and then the difference that did not exceed the amount that fell below the 5.3 growth rate. And that is the amount that you can claim as revenue loss.
Did that include the revenue loss in the hotel motel venue tax?
That is correct. So the way you calculate it is you look at the entity as a whole. So it includes property tax, the hotel occupancy and vehicle rental tax for services, fines and forfeitures. So all of that is combined. And yes, to answer your question, that is included in that account, in that calculation.
So Francis, any obligations that we had through our venue tax that we weren't able to meet or we were short, can this right here be made up? Can this be used for that shortfall?
So as long as the expenditure, I would say as long as the expenditure, fits their definition of providing government services, and it does include infrastructure improvements as well. The revenue loss piece of it opens it up to that infrastructure piece. Then yes, as long as it falls within that category, then you could use that for those.
But you can't pay it against debt.
Right.
So
Can't pay down debt.
Yeah.
So the exceptions are you cannot pay down debt. You cannot just add into your reserves or what they call the rainy day fund. And you can also not use it to contribute to a pension or for us TCDRS.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, thank you.
All right. Anything else, Francis?
No, sir.
All right, and as we move forward, I think it's one of these things which it's hard to understand until we actually start approving these things and doing them, and then we'll say, well, this does meet that criteria, and the court can make a decision, prioritizing what we want to do with that money. But the 1.6 million is that would be what the county, the entity, the McLennan County could use in different ways. So.
And Judge, we're still operating under the interim guidance as well, that we anticipate final guidance soon that will shed some more light on that as well.
Right. Okay. So we should have that by the 20, what'd you say, 23rd?
We should have the our subrecipient agreements ready for court on the 21st for Waco Family Medicine and MHMR. But we don't know when to anticipate that final guidance from the Treasury.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess, is there any possibility that they may push out the timeline that this money has to be dedicated or used by, because the rules keep changing?
Yeah.
So, do we expect that we might see an extension of the timeline?
I would expect we'd see something different.
It's always changing.
Yeah, and other programs, they've become, as the money is not moved out, some may feel fast enough, then the rules are loosened, or, make qualifying a lot easier, and so we might see that as well as the date pushed.
Just remind everybody of the timeline, Dustin. I mean, it's a long.
2020.
Yes. Has to be obligated by the end of 2024, right, Francis, and then spent by
Yes.
2026.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like you were saying, it's hard to know what the final rule will say, but I'm assuming that these interim reports and these plan reports that they're having turned in today and submitted from all entities will probably give them some idea of where entities stand and what changes will be made. But hopefully soon.
Okay.
Who knows what inflation?
Okay, so,
Who knows what inflation is?
so what do we need from the court? Just approval of the report?
I think that would be fine. Yes,
All
sir.
right, is there a motion to approve Dustin and Francis' report for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Under item E2 regarding the statewide automated victim notification services grant. This is the annual grant we receive. The purpose of this is to have a statewide system that provides offender release information, notification of court settings, and other events, and really goes to supporting the rights of victims of crime. The total grant award this time is $24,478.16, and it is a reimbursement that covers the item that's under E2B. This is authorization of second contract renewal of participating entity services agreement with APRIS Incorporated. APRIS is the chosen vendor by the state that provides those services I mentioned before. And there will be some enhancements done this year, but everything is covered under the grant. So we could take E2A and E2B together.
Okay, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve these two grants under E2A and E2B?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Under E3 regarding victim coordinator and liaison grant, authorization of grant contract number 2215150 with the Office of the Attorney General. Back in April, the court approved the submission of this grant application. It's the annual grant that's applied for this victim services unit for a full-time position. It was awarded in the amount of $42,837. And the term of the agreement is September 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2022. This agreement does need to be signed and returned today. There is one update. This is typically awarded in 2-year cycles, but this one was only awarded for 1 year, and the DA's office was trying to get more information on that, but I don't believe they've had any luck so far.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the court?
Move to approve item E3.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Under item F, budget and budget amendments, F1 regarding the FY21 budget. Francis, were you going to cover F1A?
I can, yes, sir. So there's one budget amendment, F1A, and this is in the general fund for Road and Bridge Precinct 4. And the request is to move from the contingencies line in their department into capital outlay and furniture and equipment to cover hammer attachments in welding equipment for other pieces of equipment or trucks, as well as an additional amount for furniture and equipment for the remainder of the year.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote. Oh, excuse me, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. F1A.
F1B, Information Technology, Authorization of Purchase from IT Assessment Fund. Lisa?
Yes, this request came to us from the county judge's office. They have an interest in maybe having IT purchase a Meeting Owl Pro camera. This is a device that we had looked at sometime last year for virtual or hybrid meetings. It's a Wi-Fi enabled 360-degree radius with speakers and microphones that will automatically focus and adjust according to the sound quality, for the speaker. It supports medium or large conference room settings with an 18-foot radius. It's plug and play setup, connects through USB on any device participating in the meeting. And it will integrate with most of your common meeting platforms. So we feel like this would be a positive addition to, all of our meeting types that we have here at the county. The expense for this device is $917.45. I do have a remaining balance in the IT assessment fund of $970 that could be used to cover this expense. We haven't been able to do a demonstration with this device. It wasn't available when we were reviewing it, but it does have a lot of good online reviews.
This would be available for any department or elected official in the county to be in our office and just call and we'll provide it once we know how to work it. It seems to be very simple, but many times there's meetings that won't be in this room that need to have a good connection and be able to communicate between people on the call. And I think it's what I feel like for technology is reasonable cost. Any questions anyone have about it? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Under G2, authorization of phone request for County Court at Law number 3. Lisa? Oh, and Lisa, you are muted.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize I was up so quick. Yes, so this is another request our office has received for the incoming Judge Luna with 2 staff members. They are requesting 3 phones and associated licensing for their staff. We do have that available in our on-hand inventory. Necessary phone network connections are in place, so there would be no additional cost for this request.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
All right, and Judge, that should cover all the action items.
Okay. We have an item pertaining to security. And so that would be under
551.076.
Yeah, under section 551.076 of the government code, deliberation regarding security devices and security audits. So if we could go into executive session.
Yes, sir. And I would like to invite Brandon Suggs and David Nyhard will be coming with me.
All right, and Dustin Chapman.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Let's call court back into session. It's 11:14. All right, is there anything else to come before the court today? If not, we stand adjourned.
Recording stopped.